June 17th. As a reminder, we are a recommending body to City Council. Also, if you haven't signed in, when you get up here, we'd appreciate sign in. If there happen to be public comments, we'd ask that would be kept under 3 minutes, and we'll need your name and residence, and we're only doing that in person. And also right off the bat, the item on the agenda number 221, 227 North Prince Street, they've withdrawn, so that will be not on the docket for tonight. So with that, we will have item number 1, which is the approval of the minutes from the May 20th meeting. Do I hear a motion for approval?
Motion to approve.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All right, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All right, motion carries. So we'll skip item number 2 on the agenda and go right to number 3. So who's ever here for 303 West King Street, if they want to come forward.
It's up to you. I mean, I have a paper here, which I may have a copy.
Yeah, so you want to pull them up, then would be good. Yeah, when you're set up, if you want to introduce yourself and go through the project, and Suzanne can flip through the slides as you need then.
All right, well, I'm Brent Hostetter with Brentwood Builders, and I'm here to get approval for a 7-unit apartment building on West King Street. So
If you don't mind, just sitting, or you can use the mic, at least get close to the mic. Yes. Thank you.
We are streaming tonight.
Okay, that'll be
That
helpful.
way those online can.
I'm on TV.
If there's anybody.
Oh.
Thank you.
Yeah. So anyway, yeah, this is a 7-unit I'm looking to build over on West King Street. This would be the approval meeting, so I brought samples along for you to see as close as possible. You know, I'm still pretty far out from getting this underway. We own the lot, but with interest rates and construction costs, I'd need to hold off a little bit, but I wanted to at least get it through the historical board and go from there. So, yeah, do you want me to go down through the whole project, or do you want me to show you the samples, or what would you like?
Since I guess you were here last month.
Yep.
You were here last month, so
Yep.
if you want to just go through any updates or anything
Sure.
that you've changed, and then, yeah, you can just show us the samples.
Okay. Well, let's start with the front facade, which is brick. I went to Penstone and grabbed 2 samples. We're hoping to do like a creamy brick. So I kind of brought 2 samples of it kind of depends what brick they can get. You know, Penstone was telling me the supplier doesn't always have everything in stock, or even how they're making, when they're making it. So, but this is kind of what I'm hoping to do, and I could pass it up to you guys too. Something like this, a creamier whitish brick, and then it would have a gray grout. So that would be on the face of the building facing King Street, right there. So.
And the brick is only on the King Street facade?
Yeah.
Okay, it doesn't wrap around?
Unfortunately, I don't think. I mean, no. We're gonna try to stick with just on the facade, the front. So then, getting to your point there, Steve, around the sides and the back, I brought 2 options because honestly, I'm not sure what I'm gonna do yet. I also am not sure with code and firewall stuff what I'll have to do. I know we built another unit and I had to put hardy plank on it as part of the kind of the firewall, which it's a better product and I do like it more. But again, with cost, I wanted to show you 2 samples. Don't mind the color. That's not necessarily the color we'll do, but it's a hardy plank sample. And then we would do a 5.5. If we did vinyl siding, it'd be a 5.5 like this. So would you like to see these up close? Okay. What'd you say?
Sorry. Would you match the brick color? Is that?
Yeah, probably, or something that would complement it, like an off-white or a cream or something like that. Yes, yeah. All right, and then moving to this thing here. This is a little sample of what the railing would look like. Don't mind, it's not going to be wire. It would be aluminum, black aluminum that would come down. I just didn't have a sample like this to show of that.
Okay.
That would be kind of for where you see over the doorways there, and then that side rail.
Okay.
It would either be something like this with horizontal black aluminum spokes, or we might do something like the rendering shows where we would do something wrought iron, but it'd have very similar finish and look as this, with actually, rather than vertical, horizontal. I'm sorry, yeah. So, but I thought I'd show you a little bit so you kind of see what I was thinking. And then for the doors, oh, go ahead, Steve.
So the rendering is showing horizontal.
Mhm.
You just said that would they be vertical?
Well, I'm not exactly sure yet. I think I didn't have a sample of exactly what's on that rendering at my office, so I more wanted to show you like that it's going to be black. It's either going to, and most likely be aluminum. I think we would probably, now that I'm thinking about it, try to stick with what's on the renders and do a horizontal look. I'm open to your feedback too, of what you think would look better. But I just wanted to kind of get this in front of you so you could kind of see, the material.
Well, I think the vertical balusters are more traditional.
Okay.
But it's a new build.
Right.
So,
Yeah.
I don't, you don't necessarily have to be locked into that. I had a comment about if you use the hardy siding.
Uh-huh.
Are you open to using the smooth surface rather than the wood grain?
We would use the smooth. I prefer the smooth over the wood grain. I didn't have a sample at my office of the smooth.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah, the wood grain tends to give, it's a more rustic look. It
Yep.
really, I don't think is appropriate for.
Yeah. Yeah.
Here.
Yep. Yeah, I agree. I like the smooth. We did that on a building right next to our office on Mulberry Street. It's like a dark blue, smooth, hardy. It looks really nice.
Okay.
So yeah, I would do that. Sorry, I should have mentioned that, Steve. So this, I don't have any like real big door and window samples, but I believe for all the windows, mostly because of cost, unfortunately, we would do a vinyl window, probably an MI or either MI or Harvey. I had an MI brochure at my office here, and it has a color page with the colors. So we would do black for that. And then I can show you this. And then I have an Anderson as well, booklet. Probably for all the doors that you see there, we would do a Anderson door, like French type of door, like solid stationary, one opened that would swing in, that you could open it up, and then you'd have the railing on the outside. So, and I'll flip through here to try to get to the color. Yeah, I think that's pretty much it.
And I wasn't here last month, so is there any changes or things that, from the folks that were here that mentioned that they were looking to see something else, or?
Yeah, Suzanne, could you go back one slide to the King Street elevation? Yeah, there. I think last month we talked about maybe not finishing the first floor door in wood.
Yeah.
because it kind of gives the false impression that that's the main entrance
To the whole building. Yeah.
So is
Okay.
that going to be black like the other doors?
Yeah, we can make it black. I just didn't get the renderings changed,
Okay.
but that's not a problem. If you want to put it in the notes.
The brochures that you just passed with the windows and doors, they were just like one light. Are you, though, proposing like grills like what's in the rendering?
Oh,
Yeah, the rendering showing 4/1.
honestly, I haven't given it a whole lot of thought yet. So if there's something you guys prefer to see, it's not a big deal to me. I know, I was probably thinking we'd do some type of grills, but I think on our Mulberry Street building that we did up the street, I remember you saying like 1/1's actually the most traditional. So I don't think we had any grills in that.
Well, 1/1 or 2/2.
Or 2/2. Yeah, we could do 2/2. I kind of like that look. Yeah, but yeah, I haven't given it much thought.
The pattern that you see most often in, suburban houses is 6/6.
Yeah,
And there aren't a lot of those in the city.
yeah,
Yeah, I think 1/1 or 2/2
would be good. Okay.
appropriate.
Yeah, that's fine with me.
Although, the 4/1, which is more like a cottage style
Mhm.
you're showing, I think that's appropriate too.
Okay.
Were you bringing it up because you thought maybe the 2/2 was?
I didn't have an opinion
Oh, okay.
on the configuration. I was just wondering, because I think I do like having the simulated muttons rather than just a single shade, even in the French doors.
Yeah, it does give it a little more detail, a little more character, so,
Yeah, the 2/2 works there.
Okay. Yeah, if you want to put that, yeah, I could do 2/2. And then what about the doors? Or do you like the way they look?
I
They're-
think some kind of division of paints would be, appropriate. I don't know that we want to go all like full light glass.
Right.
Then it would just look too much like a, patio door.
Right. Yep.
Traditional, modern patio door.
Okay.
So, so I think, some kind of grid pattern that's compatible with a 2/2 if you're going to do that on a window.
Okay.
So,
Yep.
Other comments or questions on this?
Oh, I forgot to bring a roofing sample. I'm sorry about that. I was just thinking of it, but I would just plan on doing a standard architectural shingle. Either like a Virginia slate, so like a grayish color, or a black.
Okay. Seems fine. Any comments on? All right.
Do we need to make a decision on or would we leave it up to them about the siding on the sides, on the secondary facade?
Yeah, if we have, we can discuss whether we're approving one or the other, or it can just say,
Or both.
or choice, yeah, their choice, so. Yeah,
I think, we've recommended approval of vinyl siding before.
yeah,
It's not a primary facade, so
Yeah.
you're putting the brick on the,
Yep.
face that people will see, so.
Yeah, in my, just so you know, I would hope to do hardy plank, but it's like double the cost, so that's the main thing.
Right.
But also with, like I said, the fire assembly, I don't know. I gotta weigh the cost of if we do vinyl siding, what will be required
behind it.
behind it, where I know how we've done a fire assembly that passes code with hardy.
Yeah.
And then it's like a LP like fire siding or fire sheeting, and anyway, so I'll get it, but
I think there are rated assemblies for vinyl too.
Yeah.
but-
yeah,
So it seems like the comments are the hardy or the vinyl siding is acceptable, and then the 2/2 windows. Were there other comments?
And then just the color of the front door.
Right, yes, the color of the front door. Okay.
So those would be the conditions of the recommendation.
Correct, yeah. All right, are there any public comments? Okay. Would somebody like to make a motion?
I didn't print out my,
Here, do you want this?
which. John?
Is that it? Yeah, that's it.
It's okay.
I'll give this to you on the next one.
Gotta read.
Go ahead.
Mr. Chairman, I recommend the City Council approve certification of appropriateness for the proposed new construction of a 3.5-story residential apartment building on a parcel at 303 West King Street per submitted architectural plans and proposed building materials. This work meets the Secretary of Interior Standards Number 9 and design standards.
I think we need to add the conditions we talked about. Can I just go ahead and list them?
Yeah, is there a second to that?
Yeah.
Is there a second to that motion?
I'll second.
All right,
Okay.
any discussion? Add the
Okay,
conditions.
The discussion is to add the
Thanks.
conditions, to use smooth hardy, to use either vinyl siding or hardy panel or hardy plank, but it would be the smooth finish rather than the wood grain. Window mutton pattern will be 2/2, and the color of the front door at the first floor will match the color of the windows rather than wood as shown in the renderings.
Any other further discussion? All right, all in favor of the motion with the amendments, say aye. Aye. All right, motion carries.
All right, thanks.
Right to, next week, June 25th, which is a special meeting actually to discuss the bond refinancing, so then hopefully we'll be before that.
Okay,
I will send you the steps tomorrow.
okay. I'll be on vacation next week.
All right, thank you. All right, item number 4 on the agenda, 218 East Madison.
Okay, I'm gonna pull up what you submitted.
Okay, she's got it there.
They may be.
All right, if you want to introduce yourself, and then Suzanne can go through your presentation as you need to. I think if you push it through. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, great, thanks. Hi, my name's Curtis Egan, and my organization is East Madison Friends LLC, and we own the building located at 218-220 East Madison Street. It's an existing warehouse, and our proposed change of use is to go to a 6-unit multifamily residential building with parking inside the structure. We recently had a successful zoning appeal for this. The building is existing, is about 18 feet tall, so we have to make a very small vertical expansion in order to accommodate adding a second floor in the building. Just a little background on the building. We've been told from previous owners, I think the deed goes back to 1952. The original use was an appliance stocking warehouse, an appliance delivery. So they would stock shelves in there with appliances, and then they'd pull trucks through. So I'll show on the plans, there's sort of an interesting characteristic about the building with the drive-through aisle, which we've preserved here. But yeah, so that's the orientation. Thanks, Suzanne, for going to that page. And we're kind of in the middle of a block here off of Walnut and Lime Street. So it is currently a non-conforming use. The proposed change in use would take it back into residential, which is in more character with the neighborhood, but we're trying to preserve the industrial look of the building. So if we go to page 3, that's just some precedent images that we used for zoning for other projects. If we actually go to page 5, One more page, please. Here we'll see our proposed floor plans. So if you're looking plan left there, that's our first floor, which is internal parking. So currently from the south end of the plan, you're able to drive through, and we're preserving this one-way drive-through aisle with angled parking. We've got 6 spaces, one of which is ADA van accessible. And on our second floor, we've got 6 units, one of which is ADA accessible. And we do have a small limited access or limited use lift proposed for the ADA unit there. And our floor to ceiling is we have an 8-foot structure for our parking deck. And then that requires us to bump the roof up 3'6". So the current roof plan is it's a monopitch roof. It's like a 2 to 12 slope. It's very, very small. So there's monopitch trusses right now bearing on steel, and then the exterior masonry walls. So our intent is to preserve that exact monopitch, but simply bump the whole structure up 3'6". And that'll give us the floor to ceiling height we need for the units above. So if we continue to some exterior elevations here, our proposed construction type there is CMU going up. It'll be a concrete slab on deck for our new second floor with the parking floor below. So for exterior treatments, you can see the existing windows are bisected by the new floor, which is not ideal, but it's sort of the nature of where they are. The existing high side of the building is 18 feet, and the low side is about 15'6". So by bumping up 3'6", we'd be about 19 feet on the low side and 21'6" on the high side. Again, kind of maintaining that mono pitch. And now that I look at it, it looks more like it's a 1 to 12 pitch than a 2 to 12, even if just judging by eye. But all right, so we've got CMU infill, and then for our windows up top, we're proposing the use of a Winco steel casement window, which is a historic reproduction window that has operable qualities for egress that's going to be needed in our units. So the bottom casement is operable, and they're meant to mimic this industrial existing steel window that's on the building already. The building's got 8 windows, 4 along one facade and 2 on each other. It's the backside that's the party wall with the neighboring properties has no windows. We will have to install some windows for egress purposes and for light in those units on the backside. They're the same proposed window type. And then we do have a little bit of stucco or EIFS infill if need be above the window heads there. That's just a thought for cost savings and a little bit of an architectural detail. So one item to also note is that the existing garage doors are 12 by 12 doors, but our new plan, of course, wouldn't be able to accommodate that with an 8-foot floor to ceiling. So we propose putting an infill panel to kind of give the same appearance of the 12-foot door as it were, but use a new 7'6" garage door. And you'll be able to see that detail in the final render. But if we go through one more, there you can see the sections. This is giving you guys a good idea of kind of how we're chopping up the space. They're all 6 one-bedroom units. And some of them have their own egress, their own stairs. Some of them have shared. At the ADA unit, we had to make a shared entrance there from the parking area. But it's covered parking, it's tempered parking, which is nice for the residents or proposed residents. If we've got some axonometric sections on the next page, there you can kind of get a slice in. That gives you a good look of parking inside. We've got some bike parking per code. And then the city planning requested us to add a sidewalk on the street, which is not currently there, and potentially put some planters or greenery. And then on the final page, you'll see kind of predominantly grayscale render here, and if you look closely, you can see that infill panel above. So that's the existing opening of the garage door, but in reality, the new proposed door would be smaller. I'm not wild about the graphics of the windows on the upper floor. I don't think that's really reflective of the proposed Winco casement windows, but that's just kind of how the render came out. But there's several products like these. They're certainly expensive, but it really is the only thing that's going to give that industrial look of those old steel warehouse windows. But as far as, we haven't gotten too far down the road on colors or anything. That's why we've kind of tried to keep this grayscale. But as far as aesthetics, I feel like it's relatively unchanged from existing in terms of, just curb appeal or lack thereof.
Okay.
So your plans are really just to build on top of the existing CMU, just raise the building height?
Correct.
Does anybody have an issue with changing the volume of the building without, it's a little bit tricky because typically you want to preserve the form of the original building.
Mhm.
In this case, it's a one-story concrete block garage.
Right.
So,
Yeah.
Is it important to preserve that original height somehow and express the fact that you're building on top of it? Or is it okay to just
Extend it.
just extend it, make it look like it's a new building that's taller?
Completely understood.
I had a question about that. So you're raising the roof line, is it going to be now in line with the building next to it? Because I noticed that, looking at pictures of it now, the current roof line is just a little bit low.
Yeah, and I believe
It's going to be taller than that.
So there is a section back on A6, if we scroll up there, that's the existing neighboring house there. So the high side of the building is slightly higher than the eave, just a little bit. And there you can see on the back side of those few egress windows that we're putting in that aren't there existing. But we did, consider the concept of differentiating that expansion, and this was an earlier concept when we were looking at truly putting a whole second or even third floor on there. Since this is so minimal, we thought maybe the best is to just try to go in line with the existing wall types.
Did you say you're reusing the existing trusses?
Yes.
You are.
The mono-pitch trusses.
Change the pitch of the roof.
We'd rather not. I think there's some savings in reusing those trusses as well as just kind of keeping that same pitch. It seems to work.
Looking at, this section, really, the only thing that's going to be exposed on the neighbor's side of that wall is going to be flashing.
Mm-hmm.
Really.
That's true.
It's just such a small little, triangle.
Right.
That I would just flash it and not worry about, exposing the block. So
Okay, yeah.
it's minimal.
So you're going up with a block to match, I'm sorry if you said this, but are you insulating inside or
Yeah, we'll be insulating on the interior walls. Mm-hmm. Yeah, furring out on those.
pouring out of the
Mhm.
The existing building is painted blocks, so
Correct.
you'll repaint.
Exactly.
Okay. So
Mhm.
there isn't going to be
There's no line
there's
or,
no
No.
line where, other than 70 years of kind of weathering.
yeah, I think those are good windows. I don't know if anybody has any comments on size or proportion. Obviously you want to get what light you can up there, to
Right.
maximize that.
Because they're kind of narrow, deep units.
Correct.
Get as
Yeah.
much light as you can on
Yeah.
either end. Honestly, the floor plan is really clever.
Thank you.
To get 6 units that way,
Mhm.
each with their, you said there are 3 units that share an entrance.
Yeah,
but
correct.
For the most part, they all have their own.
We have considered skylights for some interior space, light on that space. even, Douglas Smith from the city just made that as a friendly recommendation. Of course, it's, budget dependent, and skylights are always kind of a bit of a moisture infiltration nightmare, but to your point about the length of the, kind of shotgun unit or cigarette unit.
Get some light into the middle, but a skylight's not visible from the street, so
Yeah.
you don't have any say
Okay,
on whether you
got
do
it.
it or not. So
Got it. Okay.
That's up to you and the building department.
Okay.
Um,
The only existing, pedestrian door or person door, I don't know what the proper term is, but is a hollow metal door that's there currently, and that's the only proposed door to go back. It's a hollow metal door.
So the residents don't need to go through the garage doors to get in and out.
No. There's still big egress doors.
Yes, if it uses the space. Other comments or concerns?
I think it's a good
That's
solution.
good,
I
yeah.
hate to use the term down and dirty, but
Yeah.
it's kind of
Yeah.
basic,
We'll try to focus on the interiors to make them nice.
Yeah.
But it kind of respects the, industrial character of the existing
Right.
building.
Yeah.
Without, without any kind of unnecessary architectural flourishes.
Right.
Yeah, that wouldn't belong.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
That is on the backside that you're looking at there is trash. Yeah, it's just through the man door. We'd have to wheel the cans out in the street. This is something one of the conditions that we spoke about with neighbors during zoning is we had initially talked about doing an internal trash room with its own garage door, but we've been requested to utilize a small local hauler, a pup truck hauler, similar to what's already used due to the restrictions on trucks and weight limits back there. So
Narrow alleys.
yeah,
there, so-
correct. So I think ultimately we're going to have property management take toters out for pickup.
So that elevation two, the south elevation, there will not be an overhead door there for the trash?
Oh, excuse me, is he still showing that there? Yeah, I guess we still have that on there.
Just the two on the corners.
Yeah, I guess he is, excuse me, I guess we are still showing that. I'm just thinking more about the process of how we actually get that out there. So yeah, no, that is still there. That is still proposed, but I'm just thinking about the operations of how we bring those cans out. We were hoping that we were going to be able to use a dumpster in there, but it seems unlikely that we'll probably have to just go with cans and have management take the cans out. But yeah, that is still the proposed small overhead door there.
Okay.
Okay. Any public comment? If you want to come up to the mic there, yeah, that one, if you can turn that one on and then introduce yourself and your residence and go ahead.
My name is Steve Hohenwater, and I reside at 323 North Lime Street, directly across from this project, and we have had quite a few meetings with Curtis over the last couple of years to get this project to where it is now. And in general, the neighborhood is very supportive of the current scale of the project. It was much larger before, and so this is in line with what the neighbors have generally rallied around. And so we're glad to see that it's coming to fruition. And I do believe the neighboring building, which would be 218, 220, 222. I think the owner, he has acquiesced to the increase in height tying in with his business as well and into this particular project as well. So in general, we're in full support of that. We had put some stipulations in place as neighbors that there wouldn't be air conditioning units hanging out the side and that kind of thing. So we're just happy to support this project the way it's being put forth. So thank you.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you, Steve.
So condensing units are on the roof? or-
Yeah, that's one of the stipulations is, yeah. Any equipment is rooftop.
Looks like there's something on the roof now from the aerial. I can't tell what it is.
It's a small solar array, I think
Is
an
that what
old
it is?
solar array, yeah, from previous owner. Mhm.
All right. Would somebody like to make a motion for approval?
I'll make a motion.
Mr. Chairman, I recommend that City Council approve a certificate of appropriateness for the proposed new construction of a new second story on a one-story cement block warehouse building at 218 East Madison Street for conversion to a 6-unit residential apartment building per the submitted architectural plans and proposed building materials. This work meets the Secretary of the Interior Standards number 1 and the design standards.
Is there a second? Thank you. Any discussion? All right, all in favor of the motion, say aye. Aye. All right, motion carries.
Listen, this will also go, they're a recommending body only, so it has to go on to city council.
Okay.
Next week, next Tuesday.
Okay.
25th, and I'll send you all the materials tomorrow.
Fantastic. Awesome. Thank you, everyone.
Appreciate it.
Appreciate it.
All right, and item number 5 on the agenda is 114, 116 West Chestnut Street. And this is a conceptual discussion. Suzanne, do you have this material?
They're separate documents, I can pull up one. We'll go with the elevation.
All right, if you want to introduce yourself and the project, actually, can you turn your mic on? It might be off. There you go, thank you.
Oh, okay, thank you.
Yep.
Yes, my name is Joel Sims with Sims Architects, and this is a project that we're doing for Inline Properties, Steve Levin. We've done several apartment projects for him in the city, and so this is on the corner of Water and Chestnut, and we're keeping, obviously, the commercial / retail on the first floor, adding some apartments on the second floor, and then the third floor. The issue is it's 2 buildings, and the one on the corner is 3 floors, has like an attic. Well, it's not technically 3 floors. It has an attic. It's part of the third floor, and then the other portion is only 2 stories. And so we are looking at removing the dormers / attic, and then adding a complete third floor on both building portions. There is a small alley that is on Water Street, and so that's the very exciting egress stair that goes out on the side. It'll be pretty much in the alley.
That's the south side of the property? Yeah.
Yes,
Okay.
yes. South side. You'll just be able to see it if you're on Water Street looking into the alley there.
Okay.
So what's the proposed use of the top floor? Is it
Apartments,
apartments? Okay.
yes.
Okay, it's kind of ironic that we've had two projects in 1 month that we're talking about
Extending storage.
extending up.
What was the other, what was the other PDF? Sorry, Steve.
You had some renderings. some
Yes, yes.
renderings.
Yeah, so that shows the existing facade from Chestnut Street, where you see the dormers and the attic on the right side. So this is existing on the left there, where you see the attic, and then basically the other side. As you probably know, you might have heard this a few times, it's very costly to build, and people that are building are trying to maximize, and this project really doesn't work unless a third floor can be added to it to, capture two additional apartments there. And having the wall straight at the front facade there allows to maximize the floor area on the third floor.
I think the issue with this particular application, though, is that this proposal really does drastically alter the character of the building. I mean, it obliterates the original form of the historic buildings and gives it a whole new form, which I don't know is the most appropriate thing to do. Have you considered, there are some other examples in the city where a third floor's been added, where they've maintained the gable end, come in, say, 2 feet, so you maintain like 2 feet of that roof slope, and then you do a full width dormer.
Mhm.
You can actually, save money in materials because the dormer wouldn't be brick. It would be a different material.
Right.
I think that would be a way of kind of preserving the shadow of the original gabled roof,
Mhm.
and still give you the extra third floor.
And these two properties weren't, they weren't the same, they weren't together,
They were
yeah,
built separate
at some
times,
point.
yeah.
Right.
I think the property on the left, on the east side, is 1930s, so it's a completely different structure.
Oh, okay. And at some point, they just put the banding across or
Yeah,
on the first floor.
to join, to make a kind of unitized first, commercial facade. Yeah, I'm concerned about the proposal that it just it changes the historic character of the building too much. And I'd like to see another option where that you could, try to save the gable end,
Mhm.
some of the roof. I guess the example I was thinking about is the warehouse at Northgate. Are you familiar with it? Where they're building the big high-rise now on the corner of Lemon and Queen? Behind that is an old warehouse
Okay.
that they added a full floor to the old historic warehouse building.
Okay.
They did it in the form of a long dormer, so they maintained the gable ends. I guess, that's Christian Street in the back? I think, yeah.
Usually, we maybe recommend that they go up in the back, but there's already 3 stories
Yeah.
in the back, which is still visible on Water Street.
But I think that warehouse, the Northgate project would be a good inspiration for you to look at and see how they added a full floor without kind of completely changing the character of the building.
Okay.
Suzanne, can you scroll down a bit? Okay, yeah, there's one of the views, in the upper right. Yeah, that's the view there.
Suzanne, can you go onto Google Maps to Street View? Yeah, yeah.
And just while she's doing that, I'm not a huge fan of taking the dormers off of the, what would that be, the west side, the building on the west-hand side. I think that, because you already have almost the height that you need there. What you're doing, you're just taking the dormers away to unify the facades, but I don't know if you're gaining anything from your, livable space from taking the dormers away.
Now, Suzanne, I was going to ask you to go to Northgate
Oh, I'm sorry.
and see that building on Christian Street. I don't know what the address is. It's the 300 block of North Christian.
Yeah, I think I'm familiar with the building you're talking about. I'll see if it's right. What I was
It's on
thinking.
North Christian it's between Lemon and Walnut, yeah. Yeah, and then go no, it's on Christian Street, but you can just go around the corner, yeah. It's right there, actually,
Right.
you can see it. So,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Example of, the little row houses over there, they had the dormer in the back.
yeah, so the
Okay.
dormer is continuous across the back. So there's the warehouse. You can see they added a full story, but they maintained
Yeah.
but they maintained the gable at the end, so you could still see the form of the original historic building. Oh, we're back on Green. We're back on Green Street.
Well, are there other comments also?
Yeah, you've got a lead foot there, Suzanne.
They added the stair tower to it.
Yes,
Right?
yes.
Yeah.
But yeah, my point was that they added a full story. They used slate as the material rather than brick, so that it kind of
Is that slope there or is that vertical? It's hard to tell.
It's vertical.
Okay.
It's yeah. And they maintained basically the brick wall thickness of the gable. I don't know if you can go down a little bit farther and then turn around.
No, it's a one-way street, Steve.
There you go. Okay, so they maintain about 2 feet.
Okay.
So you still have the
I got you.
So
I
get
got
the-
you. Yep.
form of the building.
Okay.
I think the challenge, to Danielle's point, is you're, losing the dormers on the front, changes a lot. That makes sense on the back potentially, but there's already a full story on the back. So losing what's on the front when maybe you're not gaining a lot inside is a concern, I think.
I know there was a lot of back and forth discussion when the ordinance was being written about dormers. Are dormers reviewable or not? They are. Okay.
Removing them.
Removing them, yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can you go back to the image then, Suzanne? Other comments on the front facade or the volume or the dormers? Yeah, it definitely completely changes it,
Yeah,
unfortunately.
the thing is, I mean, if it were a brand-new building, it would be fine. I think it would meet the standards as a brand-new building, but because you're changing existing historic buildings, I think it's problematic.
It makes it look like you want to build it.
Yeah,
You're not losing the little tower that
yeah. Yeah, I wouldn't be inclined to recommend approval on this current design. Because it just changes the character of the building too much.
Yeah, I know you said you were looking for square footage inside a little bit, and this was helping. Is that, I mean, what are you gaining? Like 2 apartments or?
Yeah, on the third floor, we currently have a 2-bedroom and a 1-bedroom.
Okay.
Yeah, and as an,
You get 2 more apartments if you did this, or?
yeah, so, yeah, currently, right now, it's not, I don't know what's in the back. I mean, I know that the front is not habitable. It's basically attic space. And I don't know the back's habitable. But, yeah, so with the new, and I'm pretty sure you can't see, a little hard to see from Google Earth, but the roof, I think, slopes away from Water Street. It's got some funky roof stuff in the back there, so we're going to raise the,
And wasn't there a proposal, I think it was in this, it might have been in 2023, on South Prince Street, a vertical addition to a one-story kind of stepped gable, and they also set the wall back behind the gable. They preserved that stepped gable,
Mhm.
but then added a second story behind it.
Mhm.
So I think if there's a way that you could look at it to kind of preserve the existing facades and put your new structure behind it without completely changing the facade, I think that would be, a worthwhile exercise.
Well, this is conceptual, so we're not voting or anything.
no, and I actually think your input's very helpful, so.
Yeah. Are there any other comments that might be helpful for them as they keep? Or do you have any other specific questions for us?
No, I think this is helpful and appreciate your input. And I think when we come back, hopefully you'll be pleasantly surprised.
Okay. All right. All right, well, thank you, appreciate it.
Yep, thank you.
All right, I guess finishing our agenda, any other business? Anybody? Usually don't have anything. And unanimous votes and no demo, so we probably don't need to assign anybody, Suzanne, but if something comes up, you can let us know. All right, unless there's any objections, I will motion to adjourn at 6:52. Thank you, everybody.